Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. My name is Adrielle, and I'm currently narrating a story of my life dating back from January 2016. In the previous episode, I ended the month of October 2020, and in this episode, I am going to talk about November 2020. And yeah, here it goes. Now, something I forgot to talk about. And I will say this too, y'all. So much happened in that time. I'm trying to articulate every single thing in the video, but when I edit the video, I realize like, oh, I forgot to mention this, forgot to mention that. I'm like, well, as long as you guys get the main gist of the story, that's what's important. Something I forgot to mention was that I remember asking the leasing office about a refund for my security deposit with the first application. Yes. And that refund was $400. I remember asking about that, and they told me that that is going to come from their head office, which was in California. And so they processed it, but they said it could take like a month or two or whatever. So now I'm kind of like waiting on the money, waiting on the money. I didn't get the money. So that's something I did forget to mention in the month of October. So now I'm going to get into November. November 1st, no money. Now, mind you, the 400 I had from October 25th, it was, I think, like 200 at this point because I had to get groceries, I had to do this, I got to do that. And I'm still getting that 125 every week. But y'all, that was nothing when it came to my rent. I needed over $1,000. I needed 1360. So I'm just like, what do I do? If I do ask someone for money, it's gonna look like I doubted God. And y'all, I did not want to doubt God because I knew what God told me about Hidden Valley. But at this point, I was having anxiety at this point. So I'm just like, what do I do? So I said, you know what? I'm going to be a little bit optimistic that God's going to come through. And I said, I'm not going to ask anyone for money. Like, I still got 2 more days. So yeah, November 2nd, y'all. November 2nd, I wake up and no money. I say, let me work out. So I go to the gym to want to work out. As I'm driving to the gym, because I lived in a complex that had a parking garage and the gym was on the other side. So I decided to drive to the workout center. I get a I get a light on for my car. It was about the tire pressure. I was like, yo, I don't need this right now. Like, yo, I really don't need this right now. So I go to the gym, I work out, but as I'm working out, y'all, I'm just like, what am I gonna do? That's all I could think about. What am I gonna do with rent? What am I gonna do? So I, get the tire done, come back, and I'm just so consumed with rent. Even I got to a point where, I'm crying and I'm telling myself, you know what, Adriel, you just need to push through. Eventually, God is bringing you and Brandon together, and when you guys come together, you guys are going to be married, and he's going to take care of you. You don't have to worry about rent. I was just like, oh my goodness, am I looking for a man to save me? I started crying again. I started crying again, like, oh my God, I'm looking for a man to save me. No, I need to have my own money. I just started crying and I'm just franticing at this whole time. Now, looking back, y'all, there really wasn't nothing for me to worry about. But at the time, I was so worried. I got no money, nothing dropped in my account, nothing happened financially on November 2nd. November 3rd, the morning, too. I wake up and no money, go to work out, same thing. I'm panicking. All I'm thinking about is money, 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 money. I gotta pay my rent. How am I gonna pay my rent? So I'm like, okay, this is the last day. If I don't pay anything right now, they're gonna charge me a late fee of, I think it was $200. So 5 p.m. rolls around. I said, I can't wait. No, I can't wait. I'm like, I got like 11:59 is 6 hours and some change. I can't wait. So I text my older brother asking him for money. He said he didn't have it. He said I should reach out to my parents. I was like, oh, I don't want to reach out to them. Ooh, because you remember, y'all, Hidden Valley was my idea. I was like, I don't want to reach out to them because I don't want to hear them say, you didn't have the money, so why did you get an apartment? So I reached out to my uncle. He's like, I'm sorry, like, he's like, right now he didn't have it, because I think he had helped someone else out. So I kind of like came at a bad time. So y'all, I called Ruby. I said, Ruby, yo, can I borrow money from you for my rent? Can I borrow money for to pay rent? Then she was like, hey, like, what's going on? I was like, I don't have money for my rent. I need to pay my rent. Then she was like, Adria, I feel like it was too soon for you to move into your own apartment. I was like, no, I knew this is where God wanted me to be. And she was like, Adriel, like, if God wanted you to be there, he would have made provision, like he would have given you some type of income or a job. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. And then she says to me, she's like, you know what? Let me call you back. She's like, hey, do you mind me telling my mom about your situation? And in my mind, I'm like, I don't mind, because in my mind, I'm like, if both of them can give me money, like, that would be great. So she's like, I'll call you back later, right? So at this point, I'm like, okay, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. 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 I text my mom. She didn't respond. I'm just like, okay, you know what? I text her. I did the best I can. I'm like, even this could be a situation where maybe God is testing my pride. Because to be honest, I don't like asking people for money. I don't. This whole idea of asking people for money, depending on people in general, I hate that. I was always someone who I would always love to depend on myself. I would always want to be self reliant. I would always want to have everything I need. So this whole thing of just asking people for stuff, it was not in my nature. Well, I just felt like it wasn't in my nature. But I felt like it could be a thing of, what if God is testing my pride? Because I really didn't want to ask anyone for money. So I said, okay, I did the best I can. Ooh, so I'm just there. I'm just there franticking, just, oh my goodness, franticking. Eventually I get a call back from Ruby, probably like 8 or 9, and she said that she was gonna send me $500. I'm like, okay, at least that's something. I'm like, if I can get 500 from her, maybe even, I don't know, 750 from my mom. I had like 200 with me or so. So she sends me the 500, and I'm like, okay, I'm close. My mom calls me at like 11:20, 30 ish. I tell her what happens, and she's like, you don't have money for rent? She was like, well, she kind of gave me a pep talk. She was like, okay, I'm gonna give you, but that's it. This is it. You can't keep doing this every month. You can't keep doing this. This is where you wanted to be. You can't do this. I'm like, okay, mom. So she's like, how much do you have? I was like, okay, I just need, I think it was seven something, right? She sends it to me, and I pay my rent. So I was like this. That was close. Oh my goodness. And to be honest, in a situation like that, that's a situation where you'd be so thankful that everything worked out. I felt like I really couldn't be thankful. I remember just having so much anxiety, like, oh my goodness, I can't pay my rent. Like, what just happened? Like, oh my good, like, I just started, like, anxiety just started to really, really, really creep in. And I said, you know what? I need to do something. Something has to change. I need to get a job. I'm not waiting for London. No. Because London, no, 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 no. I'm not waiting for them. I need to get something. Right. And so that was my mindset. Also, something I forgot to mention, on November 3rd, that morning, like I said, I panicked. So I gave in to the whole customer service job that Ruby told me about. They had this whole open house webinar, and you get a job on the spot. I remember going through their process, and they told me um, they wanted to test my computer. And so I had to click a link or whatever. I was clicking the link, and clinking. I was clicking the link and it just wasn't going through. And they said, "Hey, do you have a MacBook?" And I said, "Yes." And they said, "Yeah, you can't use a MacBook. We only use Microsoft." Yeah, it has to be we don't use Mac OS. So like, I'm so sorry, we can't give you the job. And I was like, "What?" Like everyone has, no, well, not everyone, but a lot of people have MacBooks, but my system wasn't compatible with their system. So yeah, I didn't get the job. So yeah, I remember applying to jobs, to stores, yeah, stores at jobs. I was getting denied. So yeah, this was really the start of the intensity of Wilderness Part Two. Um, what else happened? I was struggling with that 125. And I remembered I would always tell myself, like, Adriel, like, there was a point in time where you were not getting money every week. So you really cannot complain about getting 125 every week. Um, I remember there was one time my bank account was low. I reached out to my dad. I'm like, "Dad, can you give me $200?" He gave it to me. But y'all, the money was really funny. And that was really the precedent of Wilderness Part Two. Wilderness Part Two, I struggled financially throughout. And Wilderness Part Two went on for a while. Yeah. Wilderness Part Two went on for a while. So that was what happened in the first half of November. Next episode, I am going to talk about the second half of November, and then I'll get into December as well. So, if you are liking and like this story, please comment, subscribe, like, share, click the notification bell, and I will see you in my next episode.